brings you the news. News across the country.
It's a beautiful evening from here. Welcome to the news across the country. I am Timitokwe Olajuwola. Osun government to light up communities living in darkness for over 10 years. President Buhari okays development of technology to combat insecurity in Southeast. Bauchi commissioner resigns after father loses traditional title. Mother with 3 kids missing in Enugu. In Osun Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke has promised to study the recommendations of the Committee on Review of Traditional Institutions in the state. The governor stated this while receiving the reports of the Reverend Bumi Jenyo-led committee. Governor's office correspondent Abdurrahim Adekilekun has more on the story.
Receiving the 4-volume reports from the chairman, Reverend Bumi Jenyo, Governor Ademola Adeleke thanked the committee chairman and his members for doing a thorough job. He thanked them for the tenacity of purpose with which they discharged their duties in the interest of the state. He promised that he and his team would study the reports and implement the recommendations with high sense of fairness, saying that his administration is not out to chaunt anybody but to settle all imbroglios bedeviling the traditional council in the state. Senator Adeleke emphasized that his administration will be guided by strict adherence to the rule of law, due process, and the fear of God.
And I'm sure you have done a good job looking at detailed report that was submitted to me. I will take my time with my team and take a look at it. And I'm sure all the recommended details that you are putting here, I'm sure we'll put them to use. We are not here to insult anybody. We just want to make sure that Osun State is different from other states. That under my leadership, we will make sure that we have rule of law. We will make sure that we have due process. Anywhere there's no due process or rule of law, it's not going to be accepted.
Presenting the report, chairman of the committee, Reverend Bumi Jenyo, commended the governor for the confidence reposed in them, saying that some traditional rulers presented petitions that do not fall within the mandate of the committee and were compiled for the attention of the incoming commissioner for local government and chieftaincy affairs.
We have done justice. We investigated, like I said, we look at the report. We have some petitions. We look at it critically and with this justice to it, because we believe in equity, and that is the guide for our report. And we're being fair to all that was involved in the matter.
Also speaking, the secretary to the committee, Alhaji Mufta Oluwadari, lauded the governor for counting them worthy for the assignment. It has been Abdurrahim Adekilekun reporting.
Governor Ademola Adeleke has expressed the readiness of his administration to light up some communities living in darkness for over 10 years. Governor Adeleke stated this during a briefing that indicates that some communities in the state could not have access to electricity due to non-availability of transformers. Sahid Adeboje has the details.
The briefing took another dimension today as Governor Ademola Adeleke expressed sadness when the General Manager of Osun Community Development Agency, Mrs. Funmi Abokede, presented him with a long sheet of paper containing names of communities which has no access to electricity supply. Governor Adeleke said that it is of great concern that some people's means of livelihood and social development have been paralyzed for over 10 years, noting that his administration will not joke with steps that will facilitate the comfort of the people of Osun State. The governor assured that before his administration counts 100 days in office, electricity will be restored in the affected communities.
So I said, everybody that wants to live there must have a fear of God. You have a fear of God. You have electricity, And people are your people that you are governing. They don't have light, they don't have electricity, no roads. I'm not happy about this at all. But I know that this will do something. Just keep praying, and then we talk to our consultant and see how we can raise the money so that as soon as possible we can start.
The governor also assured the people of the state that their welfare remained paramount to him, imploring them to continue their support for his government. Earlier, the general manager of Osun Community Development Agency, Mrs. Funmi Abokede, has intimated the gathering on the activities of our agency and its readiness to support the state government in meeting the yearnings and aspirations of the people of Osun. Saeed Adeboje, OSBC News.
In another development, Governor Ademola Adeleke has mandated agencies and parastatals relating to water, energy, rural development and their regulations to embark on an emergency summit and put up position papers that will rejuvenate the sector. Governor Adeleke stated this at the continued briefings of government agencies, corporations and parastatals. Deputy Governor's Office Correspondent Saeed Adeboje again has details.
The management of Osun Small Town Water and Sanitation Agency, led by the acting general manager, Mrs. Toyin Ashaolu, was the first to appear before the committee headed by the governor, Ademola Adeleke. In her briefing, Mrs. Ashaolu noted that 30 of the 37 mini water scheme in existence are in moribund condition, a situation which made water supply to rural communities inefficient. She, however, expressed the readiness of the federal government to assist the state financially in the area of water supply to rural communities. Just as the leadership of the Small Town Water Supply Agency did, the Executive Secretary, Water Regulatory Agency, Engineer Rafiu Moronkola, and the Coordinating Director, Mr. Daniel Ogunneade, also highlighted the challenges facing their agencies, which they said included but not limited to inadequate funding, lack of infrastructure, and inadequate manpower. Responding on behalf of Governor Ademola Adeleke, his deputy, Prince Kola Adewusi, noted that the present administration remain responsive to activities that will put smiles on the faces of Osun people. Expressing his concern about the devastating condition of water equipment in the state, the governor called for an emergency summit among the leadership of the state water energy sector with the aim of fixing the existing challenges.
You have team of engineers, team of brilliant team here, and they cannot find solutions to all these problems. Is it spare part that are getting bad, or the nature of the problems? Why 30 out of 37 just collapse at the same time like that?
From the office of the deputy governor, this is Saeed Adeboje reporting.
National Broadcasting Commission (NBC) has commended the Osun State Broadcasting Corporation for remaining resolute by doing the right thing even in the face of various challenges such as high cost of operation occasioned by hike in pump price of diesel. This is contained in a release by the NBC Zonal Director Raphael Akpan on behalf of the Director General Malam Balarebe Ilela. The release rated the performances of media stations in Osun State as exceptionally well before, during and after the state's gubernatorial election in July last year. It equally commended stations in the Southwest Zone for the professional coverage of the second anniversary of NSAS and coverage of political campaigns, jingle and messages so far, stating that there is always room for improvement to foster better broadcast service delivery in the new year. The statement, however, warned media organizations to be wary of accommodating the return of spurious and unverifiable claims in programs such as advertisement and religious broadcasts in the new year. As such, attracts sanction from the NBC. Osun State government is ready to reposition Amotekun Corps in a way that will ensure its optimal performance without political influence. The Deputy Governor, Prince Kola Adewusi, made this known while receiving the members of Amotekun Security Board. Prince Adewusi noted that adequate security of lives and property is a priority to the present administration, explaining that Governor Ademola Adeleke will do everything necessary to empower the Amotekun Corps. Earlier, the chairman of Amotekun Security Board, Brigadier General Ademola Aderibibe, and the Commandant Brigadier General Bashir Adewimbi advised the state government to recruit more officers for effective performance. Series of activities organized by Osun State government to mark the year 2023 Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration in honor of Nigeria's fallen heroes will commence tomorrow morning with the launching of the commemorative appeal fund emblems. This is contained in a statement by the Secretary to the State Government, who doubles as the Chairman 2023 Armed Forces Remembrance Day Planning Committee, Alhaji Taslim Ibalaye. The annual program, which is the first to be organized by the present administration in Osun State, will have in attendance the State Governor, Senator Ademola Adeleke, as the special guest of honor and the principal launcher for the appeal fund emblems in honor of the fallen gallant soldiers who fought painstakingly to keep Nigeria one. Other dignitaries expected at the occasion, which holds at the Local Government Service Commission Hall, State Secretariat, include the State Deputy Governor, Prince Kola Adewusi, Chief of Staff to the Governor, Alhaji Kazim Akinleye, and the Head of Service, Mr. Ayanleye Aina, among other high-flying political and non-political office holders, including traditional rulers. A statement by Alhaji Walaye described this year's Armed Forces Remembrance Day program as spectacularly put in place, going by the readiness of Senator Ademola Adeleke led administration to accord the gallant soldiers the desired honor and respect even in death. The SSG in the statement also announced that arrangements have been concluded for a Jumat service on Friday this week at Ojaoba Central Mosque, Oshogbo at noon, with a similar faith-based program by Christians in honor of the fallen heroes at St. Mary's Catholic Church behind Old Military Cemetery and Yetorum Shogbo on Sunday. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the deployment of advanced technology to combat insecurity in the southeast. Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma disclosed this in an interview with journalists after a meeting with President Buhari at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. The governor said he came to see the president to appeal to him to approve the deployment of technology in the campaign against rising insecurity in the southeast. According to the governor, the technology, which is to be deployed immediately, consists of surveillance equipment and other gadgets that will help control crime and insecurity with minimal collateral damage. 3 more Nigerians have reportedly been arrested by the police for criticizing Aisha Buhari, Nigeria's First Lady. The recent crackdown follows an earlier arrest last November of a final year student of the Federal University Dutse, Jigawa State, Aminu Mohammed, and one Zainab Kazim, a former aide to the First Lady Aisha Buhari. While the student was arrested for criticizing the First Lady's size, the former aide was arrested for allegedly getting access to the First Lady's Instagram account and deleting her posts. The duo were later released and charges dropped against them following widespread outcry over their illegal arrest, detention, and torture. However, police have continued crackdown on the First Lady's social media critics, arresting 3 people, Salisu Isyaku, Salisu Habib, and Zubairu Hamed, in lieu of a former suspect, Kartim Hamed. This is the news across the country, coming to you from Osun State Broadcasting Corporation, Voice of the West, Nigeria. Now, a mid-news message. Cleanliness is next to godliness. Maintain a clean environment at all times. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention has said that the COVID-19 Omicron sublineage is partly responsible for the current increase in COVID-19 cases in China. The United States and the United Kingdom have not yet been detected in the country. The NCDC disclosed this today in an update on COVID-19 genomic surveillance signed by its Director General, Dr. Ifedayo Adetifa. The updates made available to newsmen showed that the Omicron sublineage is responsible for the rise in cases in the US and UK is XBB.1.5, while BF.7 is responsible for the increased cases in China. Dr. Adetifa, however, said B.5.2.1 has been seen in Nigeria since last July. According to him, country-targeted travel restrictions, including requests for PCR negative tests from incoming travelers, had little or no effect on preventing global and national circulation of Omicron since the emergence of the variant and its relatives with their shorter incubation period. The Commissioner of Cooperatives and Small and Medium Enterprises Development, Sadatu Bello Kirfi, has resigned an appointment hours after a father was stripped of his traditional title as Wazirin Bauchi and removed as Bauchi Emirates Council member. Earlier report hazarded that Kirfi, a retired federal civil servant, Second Republic minister, and former Minister of Special Duties, was for the second time in 5 years stripped of his traditional title and removed from office as a senior member of the Bauchi Emirates Council. He was removed over his alleged disloyalty and disrespect to the state governor, Bala Mohammed. He was first removed by the Bauchi Emirates Council in March 2017 for alleged disloyal and unruly behavior during the administration of Governor Mohammed Abubakar. The people of Umokpara Mamagu Nachi in Udi local government area of Enugu State have been thrown into confusion as one Mrs. Chinyere with her 3 children have reportedly gone missing. The middle-aged woman and her 3 kids were said to have been last seen on Monday. Community sources told journalists that family and friends have been going around the whole village and town in search of them with no success. The family, in a message posted on various social media platforms where their picture, have appealed to all Nigerians with information about their whereabouts to contact the family or report to the nearest police station. According to the message, anyone with any useful information on their whereabouts should please call these numbers 08039297726 or 07060708482. When the State Police Public Relations Officer DSP Daniel Ndukwe was contacted for reaction, he said he had no information about the incident. The Director General of OSBC conglomerate, Mr. Rashid Folarami, has encouraged members of staff of the media organization to be more dedicated and loyal in the discharge of their duties. Mr. Folarami gave the charge today at the inter-religious prayer program organized to usher in the new year 2023, held at the Open Air Studio Iliawiyoke Bale Oshogo on Laide on Adegbero has the details.
As workers resumes after the New Year holidays, the management of Osun State Broadcasting Corporation (OSBC) organized an interdenominational prayer to commit the New Year 2023 in the hands of God. Addressing members of staff of OSBC at the annual interreligious prayer, Director General of the corporation, Mr. Rashid Folarami, who thanked God for making it possible for the members of staff of the corporation to partake in the annual prayer, also appreciated the members of the management for showing exemplary leadership, urging them to be more committed to make the system grow. The DG commended the entire staff for their respective contributions to the growth of the corporation, imploring them not to rest on their oars in ensuring that the public gets the best in terms of quality broadcasting.
We performed well last year. I urge everyone to be more dedicated, to be more committed, and to be loyal to the state government so that their plans will get actualized.
Earlier in their separate sermon, Messrs. Tunde Oguntomi and Oluwatoyin Yusuf called on members to put their trust in God and devote themselves to worshiping their makers, adding that anyone who trusts in God would not be disappointed. annual interdenominational prayer featured readings from the Holy Bible and the Holy Quran as prayers were offered for individuals, the corporation, Osun State, and the country at large. For OSBC News, this is Olaide Adegbe.
Faithful have been admonished to live a well-meaning life in accordance with the teachings of Allah as contained in the Holy Quran and the tacit approval of Prophet Muhammad to ensure a better life and a joyful hereafter. This was the high point of the lecture delivered by Fadilatul Sheikh Dr. Maruf Olawale Shola, the Naibul Imam of Osogbo Land, during the official launching of Ayedade Central Mosque held at Daru Dirosatil Islamiyat Waligatil Arabiyat along Alabidun Road, Ayedade Ifon. Habib Lai Abdul Wasiu has more in this story as presented from our studios.
There were mammoth crowd of Muslim faithful at the official launching of Ayedade Central Mosque held at Daru Dirosatil Islamiyat Waligatil Arabiyat along Alabidu Road, Ayedade Ifon. The launching of the mosque was in memory of Fadilatul Sheikh Alhaji Abubakar Aremu Adeshina, who was the 6th Imam of Ifon Rolu Kingdom. The guest lecturer of the occasion, Fadilatul Sheikh Dr. Maruf Olawale Shola, the Naibul Imam of Osogbo Land, enjoined everyone present at the occasion to live an exemplary life, so their posterity will have a blissful life. He further expressed that several people had lived worse lives, which led to the destructions being witnessed in life today. During his speech, the highly rated Islamic cleric said everyone should be their brother's keepers by considering the interests of individuals around them in every position they found themselves, and they should avoid blocking another person's successes as everything has been predestined by Allah. In his remark, the chief launcher of the ceremony, Barrister Mahmood Kola Adesina, SAN, thanked the Naibul Imam and everyone present for answering the call of Allah. He prayed for the 6th Imam of Ifon Rolu Kingdom, Fadilatul Sheikh Alhaji Abubakar Adeshina, for the kind gestures he showed him when he was alive, adding that the efforts of the late Imam together with that of Almighty Allah contributed to what he is today. In a separate interview with the Naibul Imam, he lauded Barrister Mahmood Kola Adesina, SAN, for his every-time contributions toward the propagation of Islam, both morally and financially. The event climaxed with donations of funds toward the construction of the mosque.
The Nigeria Football Federation has reconstituted its referees committee in compliance with FIFA's directive. Adeyemi Abodere has more as sports updates.
Football legend Pelé has been buried at a skyscraper cemetery overlooking the pitch that made him famous. His coffin was carried through Santos in Brazil as thousands of mourners lined up the street to bid farewell to the 3-time World Cup winner. He died on December 29 at the age of 82. Pelé's mother is still alive at 100 years old and unaware that his son had died. The Nigerian Football Federation has named former FIFA badge referee Mrs. Faith Irabo as head of its referee committee in compliance with FIFA's directive. It also rejected the composition of the Match Judicial Committee and Match Commissioners Committee. The 3 different committees will see to the officiating in the Nigerian Professional Football League for the 2022-2023 season. Irabo will work with Malam Rabi Umar as vice chairman, while the Match Commissioners Committee is headed by a member of the Nigerian Football Federation Board, Alhaji Babagana Kali, while vice chairman is the Ogun State FA Board member Alhaji Gani Majekodumi. The disciplinary committee is headed by Mr. JBC Obikwelu, while Mr. Gandhi Umar Mohammed is the chairman of the appeals committee. The Nigerian Football Federation 2023 season is to kick off on Sunday. Meanwhile, the interim management committee of the Nigerian Professional Football League has expressed confidence that all the 20 clubs in the MPFL League will honor their match day 1 fixture as scheduled. The 2022-2023 Abridged League will kick off on Sunday. Champions Rivers United will begin its title defense with a tricky home fixture against Lobby Stars. 20 MPFL clubs were drawn into 2 groups, A and B. 10 clubs for each, and not the usual North and South, as both groups had a mix of teams irrespective of the zones. In the meantime, The Interim Management Committee has approved Ondo State Sport Complex Akure to host home matches of Sunshine Stars Football Club for the new season. The approval follows the upgrade and extensive renovation works on different sections of the facility in time for the start of the 2022-2023 NPFL season. Flying Eagles coach Lennon Boso says that foreign-based players can only fill the gap in the defense and attack as it looks to wrap up preparations for the CAF Under-20 Nations Cup. The Flying Eagles are in Group A alongside host Egypt, Senegal and Mozambique. 12 countries will partake in the Under-20 African Cup of Nations to be hosted by Egypt, where all semi-finalists will represent Africa at the FIFA Under-20 World Cup to be hosted in Indonesia. Nigeria, having won the competition 7 times, are the highest winning side. Sport Update returns tomorrow. My name is Adeyemi Abodere.
And to end the news across the country, here are the major points. Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke have expressed the readiness of his administration to light up some communities living in darkness for over 10 years. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the deployment of advanced technology to combat insecurity in the southeast. The Commissioner of Cooperatives and Small and Medium Enterprises Development, Saadatu Bello Kirfi, has resigned her appointment hours after a father was stripped of his traditional title as Wazirin Bauchi and removed as Bauchi Emirates Council member. The people of Umukwara, Amagu Nachi in Udi local government area of Enugu State have been thrown into confusion as one Mrs. Chinyere with her 3 children have reportedly gone missing. That was the news across the country, edited by Temitokbe Olajuwola. For more about us, visit www.osbcng.org. Thanks for listening. Good evening.
It's entertaining. It's educating. Really informative. Qualitative news as it breaks.